What do you do if your landlord won't fix something in your apartment, or you're facing eviction because you complained about conditions at your complex? Do you have any rights? Our consumer investigator Jennifer Krause is here with those answers. Surely you do, right?
Of course you do. But there are certain ways experts say you need to go about exercising those rights. When you think of what makes a house a home, these are probably not the things that come to mind.
When I initially looked at the place, I didn't realize that it was as bad as it was.
Jody Harrington says days after moving into this house in Watertown, she discovered the breaker for the hot water heater was shut off and covered in blue tape. So you think this means don't touch?
Yeah, it definitely means don't touch it.
Here's proof that it does not work.
And that's just one of many repairs Harrington says her landlord refuses to make.
So when you discovered you didn't have hot water, did he fix it?
No.
Tenants shouldn't have to live with bad conditions in their property.
Lawyer Zach Oswald says renters have rights. The Legal Aid Society attorney specializes in housing law and says whether you're a tenant in an apartment in the suburbs, a high-rise downtown, or a house in an outlying county, your landlord must make sure your rental is fit to live in and in good repair. And Oswald says it all should begin with a full inspection with your landlord before you move in and before you sign the lease.
You want to document everything with pictures, preferably, dated pictures, and writing those things down and explaining to your landlord that these conditions exist when you move in.
Harrington, though, did not do that.
Did you not see this when you moved in?
Mm-mm.
And it wasn't until later that she moved items that blocked this wall to find there'd been a fire and the electrical wiring damaged.
So you pulled all of it away.
And well, at first then I noticed this down here. I'm like, oh boy.
Harrington says she notified the landlord immediately, but that was 10 months ago. Oswald says landlords have a, quote, reasonable amount of time to make repairs. So what is reasonable?
If somebody has a leaky faucet, a reasonable amount of time could be 14 days. But if somebody has a hole in their roof or the heat isn't working, certainly a reasonable amount of time is going to have to be a lot quicker.
It would leak through here, like it would literally overflow through that handle.
And while there are easier ways to let your landlord know about problems you're having,
So I would send him text messages or I'd call him.
Oswald says the best way to do it is in writing.
We recommend that they do that in writing so that they can make a list of the repairs that they think are needed, date it, and then keep a copy of it for themselves after they give it to the landlord. Once you have a written paper trail that you have made your request for this to be done and it hasn't been done, then you should contact a lawyer to start asserting your rights.
The house has not had hot water since day one.
That's what Harrington finally did last month.
The shower walls are falling off. The toilet overflows.
And when she says the landlord still didn't fix anything, she decided not to pay February's rent.
You should never withhold rent.
While that can be tempting, Oswald says it's a huge mistake.
In Tennessee, the landlord, if you're withholding rent, actually has the ability to evict you even if repairs are not being made.
And that's exactly what Harrington's landlord now is doing.
He's taking me to court to evict me.
And while she hasn't found another place yet, it sure sounds like she's given up on calling this place home.
This house is no longer livable.
Harrington says she's also had problems with mold and pests. Now, the attorney Oswald says if you can prove that they were there before you moved in, you'll have a much stronger case. If not, look to your lease to see who's responsible for getting rid of those sorts of things. And speaking of leases, Oswald says a written lease is the most important thing you can have. Make sure you read it and that you understand it before you sign it. And if you don't understand it, well, talk to an attorney. The Legal Aid Society offers free legal clinics every other week, and someone there can help you.
It is such good information. You just got to take the time and do it. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. And by the way, the Legal Aid Society has so much more information and a free guide to renters' rights on its website. We have a link on ours. Just go to newschannel5.com.